Hello there.
Hi, everyone.
It's Jack and Adam. We are back with our yearly NHL Playoff Predictions.
So, the playoffs have already started. We've been a little behind because college distance and all that stuff. But it's only game 3 and 4 have been played throughout. So
it's May 9th, so we're going to predict from May 9th on.
Yeah, so we had to alter just a little bit our predictions from like 2 weeks ago, just a little bit.
So first off, it's Penguins-Rangers, and currently the Penguins are up 2-1 in the series. And I'm going to say that the Penguins do win in 6 games. I think they've looked like the better team in general. I think maybe the experience is a big factor, as the Rangers are a young team. So I think the veteran leadership of Crosby and Letang are going to catapult them to a 6-game series victory over the New York Rangers. The next series is Carolina-Boston. That is currently a 2-2 series tied. And I'm going to say that Carolina wins in 7. I think it's a really good series. The first 2 games, it looked like Carolina was going to run with it, but back in Beantown, the Boston Bruins really showed it to them. Brought it back to even it up. But I think it's going to get a distance in 7, but Carolina's home ice. So I think it's a coin flip series, but I'm just going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes to this one. Next one is Tampa Bay and Toronto. It's currently a 2-2 series. Each game has been a blowout. It's been a weird series. Like, they're very evenly matched, but like I said, every game's been a blowout. But, it's Toronto. Can they get out of the first round? I don't know. I'm not going to pick them till they do it. I do like the champs to move on out of round 1, beat Toronto in 7. And lastly, in the East, the Florida Panthers and the Caps. Going into the playoffs, I thought the Panthers are going to just run away with that series. Maybe a sweep, 5 games at most. But they're currently down 2-1 right now. But at the end, I think they're going to pull through, and they're going to win in 7 and beat the Caps.
So for mine, start with Florida-Washington. I originally thought, the Panthers were going to make light work of the Capitals, but clearly that hasn't happened. So I have the Panthers in 7 games. Toronto-Tampa. So I'm a big Toronto guy. I know Jack isn't as big of a Toronto fan as I am.
I mean, I like the players.
I love the players. So, and I really don't want to see Tampa win a 3rd cup in a row. So I'm going to go Toronto in 6. There's tied 2-2, but Toronto wins the next 2, I think. Next, Carolina-Boston. I originally had this one going Carolina in 7, and I'm going to stick with Carolina in 7. It's been real back and forth. Like you said, Carolina's won the first 2, Boston won the second 2. They have home ice, so it's a coin flip. And then Pens Rangers. Not gonna lie, I originally went into this saying Rangers in 6, but I have flipped and now it's Penguins in 6. Penguins, they ended the regular season terribly, but they have really played well these first few games, especially with their 3rd string goalie in net against the Vezina winner, and they're hanging in there. So I'm going to go Penguins in 6.
All right, for the West first round, Colorado and Nashville, currently 3-0 series lead for the Avs. I originally had Avs at 5, and I'm going to stick with that. They're just a better team than Nashville. Nashville's got a lot of good players like Yossi, who I personally think should win the Norris. But, they're just a better team. They're a deeper team. It's already 3-0. The series is over. So I'll have Avs at 5. Next one, St. Louis, Minnesota. Personally, this was my favorite series going to the playoffs. I think they're just 2 great teams, and it's a shame they have to play in the first round. Big Fleury fan. He's on the Wild. But I do like the Blues at 7. I just think they had the experience. They won the Cup a couple years ago. A lot of good players on that team, and I think it's got a good distance, but I'll have Blues at 7. Next up, Calgary Dallas. It's currently a 2-2 series. I don't know what's Calgary's problem in the playoffs. I thought Dallas might have been the worst team out of all the playoff teams, but it's been a very physical series so far. Now, I do think Calgary's going to come back and win in 6 the next 2 games, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas does win. And then lastly, Edmonton and LA, currently a 2-2 series. Same thing with Edmonton, kind of like Calgary. I don't know. They just don't have a lot of depth every year. They have 2 guys. Kane's a good addition, but LA's a young team, made the playoffs this year. A lot of people didn't think they would, but I think Edmonton's still going to pull through. So Edmonton at 7.
All right, so like you did, I also originally had Colorado in 5 against Nashville, and I'm going to stick with it. I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep them, but I think Nashville will maybe pull this one out tonight. And then Wild Blues, I have the Wild in 6. That is going to be a really close series. I know the Wild were the 2nd seed, Blues 3rd. And Fleury, that's a big addition for them. They did all that with Cam Talbot and Kakko Kähkönen, I believe, in net. And now they got a much better upgrade, I think, at least, in Fleury. So I have the Wild in 6 there. Calgary Stars, I have Calgary in 7. Yeah, I don't know what it is with them in the playoffs. They're almost as bad as Toronto, but because Toronto's bigger, they always get more slack there. But now Calgary, if they're going to get out of the first round, it's going to be this year. I don't know what they're doing right now. Gaudreau hasn't really been playing that great. He had 115 points, 2nd in the league, but he's not showing it right now. Jacob Markstrom last night just gave up 3. Or was that last night or 2 nights ago? I think they lost 4-2. He looked real bad. So they need Markstrom to pull through, and if he does, then they'll win. And then Oilers Kings. I really do like the Kings in this series, but the Oilers they might just be too much for them. Draisaitl, McDavid, Kane. So I have Oilers in 6.
All right, moving on to the second round in the East. My first matchup would be the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Really good series. It's a tough one for me to predict, but during the regular season, I know that's really not a big deal in terms of the playoffs, but Carolina did have the Penguins' number in the regular season, and I do think it's going to continue in the playoffs. I just think they have more depth also, and I don't know, it's tough. I can't predict the Penguins win every year. I think their luck's going to run out, but it's going to be a good series. But I'm going to have Carolina beating the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. And then next, the Battle of Florida, the Panthers and the Lightning. I think the Lightning are going to win 6. It's going to be second year in a row, these two in the playoffs playing each other. But hey, President's Trophy curse. A lot of the times a President's Trophy winner loses in the second round. I think that's going to continue this year.
Yeah, I think the same thing, but I have Florida versus Toronto, and I have Toronto in 7. I have Toronto going to the Eastern Conference Final. I think they're both very evenly matched. They both have insane top-heavy offenses, great defenses, good goaltending. Bobrovsky in his past has been much better, but right now we're starting to see Bobrovsky again, how he plays in the playoffs, which is not very well. So yeah, because of that, I do have Toronto going in 7 games. And who will they be meeting? Will it be Carolina or Pittsburgh? Well, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins. I have the Penguins in 6 against Carolina. I don't know, maybe I am a bit of a homer, but they're playing real well right now. And if they're playing well, then I can't root against them or choose against them. So yeah, I have Penguins in 6. Yeah, in the East.
So, moving on to the western side of the second round, my first matchup would be the Avalanche versus the Blues. Another good series, but I'm going to have the Avalanche winning in 6. They're just a better all-around team, in my opinion, and I think they should finally get past the second round this year. And my other matchup will be the Battle of Alberta. First time in a while that's happened. Flames and Oilers. I don't know. Somebody's got to win this, so I do think the Oilers win in 7. They got one of the best players in hockey, McDavid, Draisaitl, so Oilers in 7.
Yeah. So for me, I have Colorado versus Minnesota. I have Colorado in 6. Both these teams, real good teams, but Colorado just seems to be on another level right now. And then I also have the Battle of Alberta, and I also have the Oilers coming out on top in 6 games. They're just too top heavy, and I don't think Calgary's going to be able to stick with them, especially in this series. Big, it's going to be very physical, probably bloody as well, but I have the Oilers and Colorado coming out on top in the West.
All right, so the Eastern Conference Final, I have the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I'm just going to say that the three-peat is not happening. I do think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to advance to the Stanley Cup Final, beating the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. It's going to be a great series. Each teams have star powers. So, cut that. It's going to be a great series. Each team is filled with stars. Each team has great goaltending. A lot of offensive and defensive depth and good coaching. So, but it's hard to three-peat. So I do have the Hurricanes winning in 7. And then my Western final is the Colorado Avalanche versus the Edmonton Oilers, and I have the Avalanche making quick work of them in 5 games, as they are so much a better team than the Oilers. I think they should be destined to finally get over that hump and get to the Cup, setting up the Colorado Avalanche versus Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup final.
All right, so for me, in my East, I have Toronto versus Pittsburgh, and the Penguins are winning this one in 7 games. The Penguins are going back to the Cup. This is going to be a glorious day in the city of Pittsburgh. It's a beautiful day in the city of Pittsburgh right now as well, and it's going to be beautiful whenever the Penguins defeat the Maple Leafs and go to the Stanley Cup final. I don't know, the way they're playing right now, I think they're the best team in the East, honestly, right now. The Rangers are a very good team. And they have we just chased their Vezina winning, probably going to be Vezina winning goaltender. We're doing with third string. We're playing all around great. We don't have Dumoulin, Raquel, Tristan Jarry right now, and I just think we're playing great. We're playing great hockey right now if we can keep it up. And then in the West, I also have Colorado versus the Oilers, and I have Colorado in 6, like you said. Colorado is by far the best team in the West. I really don't think anyone can compete with them unless on one of their worst days and the other team's best days. But I think Colorado is destined for the Cup in the West. So yeah, Colorado in 6.
All right, so Stanley Cup final, like I said, I have the Avs and the Hurricanes. Going to be a great series. I think it's going to go to distance. It's going to go to 7 games. Game 7 in Colorado. I also think it's going to go overtime. Cal McCarr is going to get the winning goal, give the Avalanche their 3rd cup, first one in 20 years. And I do think Cal McCarr is also going to be the Conn Smythe winner. But, I mean, I don't know when the last time Game 7 in the finals went to overtime.
I don't know if it's
ever happened, but bold prediction it's going to happen this year. So Avs in 7, they are your 2022 Stanley Cup champions.
All right, and so for me, I got Penguins versus Colorado. And I do think Colorado is an amazing team. And I think there's a very, very, very good chance they win the Cup. But I can't root against the Penguins if they make to the Cup final. I can't even pick against them. So I have Penguins in 6 over Colorado. It's going to shock the world. I don't know who's going to score the game-winning goals and all that, but based on what I've seen this series so far, I think Sidney Crosby is getting his 3rd Conn Smythe. Should be his 2nd. Phil Kessel got robbed in 2016. We all know this.
We could have went the either.
It was Phil's. But, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins winning the Stanley Cup, your 2022 Stanley Cup champions. Sidney Crosby's 3rd Conn Smythe, solidifying himself once again as top 5 player of all time. Probably top 3.
Still the best in the league, in my opinion.
Best all-around player in the league.
Just got voted by the players. Best
all-around player in the league, for sure.
At 34. So.
At 34, yeah. Better than Bergeron. I don't know where Crosby's Selke trophies are, but he should have them. It is what it is.
Yeah, so there you have it. I have the Avalanche winning the Cup. He has the Pittsburgh Penguins. And that's our video. Thank you for watching.